I've been running my BrickLink and BrickOwl stores for almost 5 years now. And when I look back at the video I made in 2024, where I gave 4 tips about starting a BrickLink store, which you can watch here, I realize how much I left out of this video. Not because of those 4 tips were wrong, but experience teaches you things that research never can. So today I'm updating that video completely. 10 things I genuinely wish someone had told me before I started. If you're thinking about opening a BrickLink store right now, or you just started and you're figuring it all out, this video is for you. So you're gonna need capital, and more than you think. Lego ain't cheap, even small sets add up fast, and one set won't give you enough inventory to run a store worth buying from. You need diversity, different parts, different colors, different categories, so that when buyer runs their wanted list against your store, you actually show up with enough matches to win that order. And on top of the Lego itself, you're gonna need supplies. Bubble mailers, boxes, Ziploc bags, a label printer, a scale, packaging material, you name it. And none of it is expensive individually, but together it adds up before you even sold a single part. My advice? Have a dedicated budget that isn't touching any of your bills, your food, or your family. If you're dipping into money you actually need, don't start yet, so save first and then you start the store. So, having that said, there is a way to lower the barrier to entry significantly. Instead of buying new and sealed sets to part out, consider starting with a used Lego bulk haul. You can get large volume of Lego for around 10 to 15 euros a kilogram, and if the haul contains minifigs, which many do, those alone can cover a significant portion of what you paid. Rare parts and rare minifigs can sell at a serious premium. But the trade-off is time. Processing a bulk haul, so sorting, identifying, cleaning and listing, takes a lot of it. But if capital is your main constraint, this is a smarter entry point. Less money upfront, more work but higher potential margin if you source well. So a BrickLink store is a second job. You have to source, you have to sort, you have to part out, you have to list, you have to price, you're picking orders, you're packing orders, you're shipping, customer service, administration. Every single one of those things takes time. Time you're not spending with your family, with your friends, or just goofing off doing nothing. I work a full-time job and I run SV Brick Shop on site. The way I make it work is by being honest with myself and everyone around me about when I'm available and when I'm not. Set a schedule, protect your personal time, and remember, a Lego part is just a piece of plastic. It will not be upset if you skip a sorting session or to have dinner with your family. If you go in without a plan for your time, the store will eat everything around it. You're gonna need space, a lot more space than you think, significantly more space. When you part out sets, every unique part needs its own storage location. Every color variation, every size, separate. Because when an order comes in and you need to find a dark bluish gray 1x2 tile for instance, you cannot be digging through a bin of 3000 random pieces. That's how mistakes happen and how orders take forever to pick. Define a dedicated space before you start. A room, a corner, a shelving unit, whatever you have. And build it with growth in mind, because if things go well, your inventory will expand faster than you will expect. I reorganized my store multiple times. Plan it properly before the start and save yourself that headache. So if you're finding this useful and you're just getting started with Lego reselling, please subscribe to the channel. I cover everything from sourcing bulk hauls to pricing strategy to running the actual store. All of it is on this channel. So when you open your store, nobody knows it exists, and that's uncomfortable. You spend money on inventory, you set everything up, your prices are right, your shipping is configured, and then nothing happens. Maybe for days, maybe even longer. And that's completely normal. You're competing with hundreds of stores in your country alone, and thousands across Europe. Buyers don't know you yet. You have no reviews. You're the new store with a small inventory, and trust takes time to build. I remember my first weeks. I opened the store at the end of November 21. Everything was set up, inventory was listed, prices were right, and then crickets. days of crickets. My first orders came around mid-December, 4 of them in total. The total sales income was 112 euros. My shipping cost was 18 euros. So my first real revenue of the store was 94 euros net before any other cost. And that's it. That's what the beginning looks like. It felt almost embarrassingly small. But those 4 orders meant 4 buyers trusted the store with no reviews, no history, nothing. That's where every successful store starts. A BrickLink store is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It never was. The sellers who succeed are the ones who kept going through the slow periods, kept adding inventory, kept improving, and eventually the orders started coming. Give it time and it will come. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. The most resilient BrickLink stores carry a mix of inventory. New parts from set you've parted out, used parts from bulk haul, Minifigs, new and used, complete sets. Each category attracts a different type of buyer, and together they give your store something for almost everyone. Used bulk hauls in particular are underrated by new sellers. Yes, the quality can vary and you need to know what you're doing, but the margin can be excellent if you source well. And as I mentioned in tip 1, it's also one of the most accessible entry points if you're working with a limited budget. So don't specialize too early. Cast a wide net first and then double down on what sells best for you. This is where most new sellers leave money on the table. The default approach is simple. Check the 6-month sales average on BrickLink and price everything there. And that ain't wrong. It gets you into the market, but it also puts you in direct competition with every other store doing the exact same thing, fighting over the same buyers on the same parts at that same price. A smarter approach is to understand demand. Parts that sell consistently and fast, high-velocity items can support a higher price. Buyers who need them will pay it. Parts that move slowly or that you have too much of can be priced more aggressively to shift the stock. I use the SV Brickshop market scanner to help identify which parts are in demand right now versus the ones who are just sitting. Version 3 of the scanner is available still for free download. The link is in the description down below. It reads your BrickLink inventory CSV, checks it against the European market data and tells you what's overpriced, underpriced or competitive. Newer versions exist, but those aren't public yet. Version 3 is more than enough to get you started and it already changed how I price my entire store. And this is exactly the kind of things I document on this channel. Pricing strategy, store management, the decisions that actually move the needle. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you want to check out my stores, the links are also in the description down below. At some point you're gonna be tempted to run a store-wide discount to boost your sales. Maybe 20%, maybe 30% off everything. I get it, and it feels like a smart move, but it's not. Let me tell you why. Let's say you run a 30% off the entire store. The parts that weren't selling might get a look, and that's fine. But the parts that were selling anyway, probably at a higher price because demand supports it, now sell at a 30% less. You've just taken a significant cut on your best performers for no reason. They would have sold regardless. A targeted discount on specific slow-moving lots, that makes sense. A blanket discount is punishing your winners to help your losers. Run the promotions surgically, not with a sledgehammer. Packaging matters more than you think. And I mean that in both of the directions. Don't throw 500 assorted parts all in one bag. The buyer will have to sort through everything in order to find what they ordered. And that creates a bad experience, even if every part is there. Sort by lot, use small Ziploc bags where needed, and make it easy for the person on the other end to verify their order. So I'm not saying you can't consolidate, but please be reasonable about it. 500 parts in one bag might save on packaging for you, but it will be a hassle for your buyer. So at the same time, don't spend a fortune on premium packaging material. You don't need it. Find a good middle ground. Decent bubble mailers, appropriate box sizes, clean presentation. It doesn't have to be fancy and all. It just has to be functional and professional. So how you pack your orders says a lot about you and how you run your store. It's one of the first physical impressions a buyer gets of you, and you gotta make it a good one. Things are gonna go wrong. It's better to accept this now. Packages get lost. Parts go missing, wrong items get picked, a buyer receives something damaged. Some of this will be your fault, some won't. It doesn't always matter. What matters is how you handle it. Be customer-minded, respond fast, apologize when something goes wrong, even if it wasn't directly your fault. Offer solutions, a replacement, a refund, a partial credit. Don't fight over a €2 worth of parts. The cost of a refund is almost always lower than the cost of a bad review or a dispute. I myself had situations where everything on my end was perfect and still something went wrong in transit. You absorb it, you solve it, and you move on. That's what running a store really is. The sellers with the best feedback scores aren't the ones who never had problems. They're the ones who handled problems well. So for my final tip, this is one that probably nobody talks about, and it might be the most important one on this list. BrickLink and BrickOwl are not window shopping platforms. Buyers don't browse the way you will on eBay or in a physical store. They come in with a wanted list, a specific list of parts they need for their MOC, for a restoration, or for a project of any kind. They run that list against available stores, and the algorithm shows them which stores fill the most of their list and the best combined pricing, including shipping. So what that means for you is simple. The more inventory you have, the more wanted lists you will appear in, and the more orders you win. A store with 10K lots will almost always beat a store with 1K lots for the same buyer. Not because of price, but because of coverage. And social media helps. YouTube helps. But no amount of promotion replaces having the inventory that buyers are actually looking for. Every part you add to your store is another line on another wanted list somewhere. That's the real growth engine of a BrickLink store. So there you have it. 10 things I wish I knew before I started. Built from almost 5 years of actually doing this. If this video helped you, please press that like button because it helps more people finding my content. And if you want more videos like this, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next one. If you got a question or you got something to add, drop it in the comments down below. I read every single one and I'm always happy to help. The free market scanner V3 is still available for download and the links are down in the description below. Thanks all for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!